There are 3 phone calls that can add as much as $570 to your CPP, your OAS, and your GIS every single month. And most Canadian seniors over 65 never make a single one of them. Not because the calls are hard, not because you have to be special to qualify, but because nobody at Service Canada and nobody at the CRA has any reason to call you and tell you to make them. Now, $570 a month may not sound like a fortune, but do the simple math. Over a 20-year retirement, that adds up to more than $136,000. That is your money. It was sitting there the whole time with your name on it, waiting for 3 phone calls that take 1 afternoon to make. And here's the part I really want you to remember. The third call I'm going to give you today is the one the government has the least reason to ever tell you about. It cancels a deduction that thousands of Canadian seniors are paying right now and do not even know it. And when you win, they pay you back. So before you decide your CPP and OAS must be right just because they have always looked the same, let me show you what these 3 calls are, the exact words to say on each one, and the order to make them in. Stay with me because the third call is the one most people miss, and it is often the biggest. Let me paint you a quick picture because numbers are easier to feel when you see them on a real deposit. Picture a woman who retired after her last big working year. Her CPP started. Her OAS showed up every month and she figured the amounts must be right. They were not. 2 of her best earning years had been recorded incorrectly by her employer. So her CPP was set too low from the very first month. On the OAS side, her income had dropped by more than half the day she stopped working, but she was still having an OAS recovery tax deducted based on her old higher income. And on top of that, her income was now low enough that a GIS supplement she had never heard of could have been adding hundreds of tax-free dollars to her account every month. 3 different things, all pulling money away from the same deposit every month. Not one letter ever arrived to warn her. That is not a rare story. That is normal. Service Canada is not trying to cheat you. The system just sits there and does nothing. And doing nothing is what cost you. Nobody warned her. Not Service Canada. Not her financial advisor. Nobody. And she is not alone. Before I show you the 3 calls, what to say on each one, and exactly how much money each one can put back in your pocket. One thing, Service Canada does not call you when your CPP has been underpaid. The CRA does not send you a letter when you are being deducted for income you no longer earn. Subscribe and hit the bell right now. Now let me show you the 3 calls. Tell me in the comments right now, have you ever called Service Canada to verify that your CPP and OAS amounts are actually correct? Yes or no? Drop your province below, because what this community shares shapes exactly what we cover next. Here's what most Canadian seniors do not know. Your CPP and OAS deposits are not automatically correct just because they arrive on time every month. They are calculated from records, and records have errors. Employers report wrong numbers, years go missing, and the system does not fix it for you. It just pays whatever the record says, month after month, year after year, until you call and ask. That is the entire foundation of what I am going to show you today. 3 calls, 3 specific requests, and the exact words to say on each one so you get a real answer instead of a polite goodbye. Call number 1. This one goes to Service Canada. The number is 1-800-277-9914, but the number is not the important part. The important part is what you ask for once a real person picks up. Here is what most Canadian seniors do not know. Your monthly CPP payment is built from a record of everything you contributed year by year across your entire working life. And that record is not always right. Employers report the wrong contribution amounts. Whole years go missing from the record. Periods of self-employment sometimes do not get recorded correctly. And the system does not fix it for you. It just pays whatever the record says. So if even a few of your best earning years are wrong or missing from your CPP record, your payment was set too low from day one, and you have been receiving less than you earned every single month since you started collecting. The first thing you say on this call is simple. Ask the agent to pull up your statement of contributions and go through it with you year by year. You are looking for missing years, years that look too low compared to what you were actually earning, and any period of employment that never made it onto the list. If you find a problem, ask how to correct it and ask whether correcting it would increase your monthly CPP amount. Then ask them to recalculate your benefit. That process is called a CPP benefit recalculation, and it means running the numbers again with the correct contribution record. If your record had errors, and those errors are corrected, your monthly amount can go up permanently. And here's the part that matters most on timing. If you were being underpaid because of a record error, the correction can sometimes result in a retroactive payment covering the period you were underpaid. The word to use on the call is retroactive. Ask them specifically whether a correction would result in a retroactive payment and how far back it would apply. And there is one group I want to speak to directly right now because they are shorted more than anyone, and it almost always gets missed. If your spouse or partner has passed away, ask the agent on this call to review whether you are receiving the correct CPP survivor's pension. The rules around CPP survivor benefits are some of the most complicated in the entire system. People receive less than they are owed for years without anyone flagging it. The survivor benefit can significantly increase your monthly income, and Service Canada will not call you to let you know if your amount is wrong. You have to ask. Here is exactly what to say when the agent picks up. Say this: I would like to review my statement of contributions with you year by year, and I would like to request a recalculation of my CPP benefit. I believe some of my contributions may be missing or recorded incorrectly. Then stop talking and let them pull it up. That one sentence puts them to work on the two things that can actually move your monthly amount. Write down everything they tell you, and if they say a correction is possible, ask them plainly, when will I see the change and will there be a retroactive payment? Now the next call is a completely different kind of result. It does not fix your contribution record. It stops money from being deducted from your OAS in the first place, through a process that most Canadian seniors have never heard of and have never been told they are allowed to request. Stop for a moment, because what I am about to tell you about call number 2 is the part that is putting the most money back into senior accounts right now in 2026. And the reason most seniors never make this call is not because they are not eligible. It is because the program that handles it is administered separately from Service Canada, and nobody connects the two for you. Call number 2. This one goes to the CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency. The number is 1-800-959-8281, and what you are calling about is something called the OAS Recovery Tax Reduction, or what many seniors know as the OAS Clawback Appeal. Here is how the OAS clawback works. If your net income in a given year is above approximately $93,454, the government begins reducing your OAS payment at a rate of 15 cents for every dollar above that threshold. That reduction is deducted automatically from your monthly OAS deposit before you ever see it. And here is the trap that is quietly affecting thousands of Canadian seniors right now. The clawback is based on your income from the previous tax year, not your current income. So if you retired recently, if you sold a property, if you had a one-time pension payout, or if you had any situation that temporarily pushed your income higher in a previous year, you may be having your OAS clawed back right now based on income you no longer earn, penalized today for money that is already gone. The fix is a specific form. It is called the T1213 OAS, the request to reduce old age security recovery tax at source. This form tells the CRA to recalculate your OAS recovery tax based on your current lower income instead of the previous year's higher number. When it is approved, the clawback stops or is reduced immediately in your next OAS payment. And here's what makes this call worth making, even if you are not sure whether the clawback applies to you. Call the CRA, tell them your income dropped significantly compared to the previous tax year, and ask them whether you are currently subject to an OAS recovery tax and whether you qualify to file the T1213 OAS to have it recalculated. They will tell you on the call whether it applies to your situation. Here are the exact words. Say this: I believe my income has dropped significantly compared to the year being used to calculate my OAS recovery tax. I would like to know whether I am currently subject to a clawback and whether I qualify to file Form T1213 OAS to have it recalculated based on my current income. That request puts the agent to work on your specific file. Write down what they tell you, and if they confirm you qualify, ask them to mail you the form or tell you exactly where to download it. Now here's the part most coverage completely misses, and this one involves the GIS, the Guaranteed Income Supplement, directly. The GIS is worth up to $13,260 per year for a single senior, and it is completely tax-free. It is one of the most valuable benefits available to lower-income Canadian seniors, and it is consistently one of the most underclaimed benefits in the entire system. Tens of thousands of seniors who qualify for GIS are not receiving it, often for the simplest reason imaginable. They stopped filing a tax return because they thought they had no income to report, or they never applied because nobody told them to. Here's the rule that unlocks GIS. File your tax return every single year, even if you have little or no income. The tax return is not about what you owe. It is the document that proves your income so your GIS eligibility can be assessed and your payment can begin. No return means no proof, and no proof means no GIS. For a senior who has been missing GIS for 2 or 3 years because they stopped filing, the retroactive recovery available through Service Canada goes back up to 11 months from the date they apply. That is potentially over $11,000 deposited in a single payment, but only if they apply and only if they have been filing. Most seniors who are missing their GIS find out they were eligible only after years of going without it. Now you know before that happens. Did you know that filing your tax return every year, even with zero income, is the single action that determines whether your GIS flows automatically or stops entirely? Drop your answer below right now. I want to know how many people watching this had no idea the tax return was the key to the GIS payment. Call number 3. This one goes back to Service Canada at 1-800-277-9914. And this is the call I told you about at the beginning, the one the government has the least reason to ever mention. It is about a benefit adjustment that most Canadian seniors have never heard of, and that can result in a payment coming back to you for amounts that were incorrectly deducted in previous months. If you have recently retired, if your income dropped because a spouse passed away, if you lost a pension, or if any life change significantly reduced your income, there is a process through Service Canada to request an early income assessment for your GIS calculation. Normally, your GIS is calculated based on your previous year's tax return income. But if your income has dropped significantly in the current year due to a life event, Service Canada has a process that allows you to declare your estimated current year income so that your GIS is calculated on what you actually earn now, not on what you earned last year. This is called a current year income option, and it can significantly increase your GIS payment immediately rather than making you wait until the following year when your lower income shows up on your tax return. The life events that qualify you to request a current year income assessment include retirement or reduction in employment income, the death of a spouse or common law partner, the end of a pension or annuity, and several other qualifying income reductions. If any of these apply to you and your income this year is meaningfully lower than last year, this call can increase your GIS payment starting as soon as the following month. Here are the exact words for this call. Say this: I have had a life change that significantly reduced my income this year, and I would like to know whether I qualify to use the current year income option for my GIS calculation. Then tell them what the life change was: retirement, loss of a spouse, end of a pension, and let them pull up your file. Write down everything they tell you. And if they confirm you qualify, ask them specifically, what documentation do I need to provide, and how quickly will the adjustment appear in my GIS payment? Now let me bring the full picture together because the real power is in making all three calls in order. Call 1 goes to Service Canada at 1-800-277-9914. You ask them to go through your statement of contributions year by year and request a recalculation of your CPP benefit. If you have lost a spouse, ask them to review your CPP survivor's pension amount as well. This fixes a monthly payment that may have been set too low from the very first deposit. Call 2 goes to the CRA at 1-800-959-8281. You ask whether you are currently subject to an OAS recovery tax and whether you qualify to file Form T-1213 OAS to have it recalculated based on your current lower income. This stops money from being deducted from your OAS for income you no longer earn. Call 3 goes back to Service Canada at 1-800-277-9914. You ask about the current year income option for your GIS calculation if your income has dropped due to a qualifying life event. This increases your monthly GIS payment immediately, rather than making you wait until next year. For a senior who benefits from all three calls, the combined monthly difference can be as much as $570. Over 20 years, that is $136,000 that stays with you and your family, instead of quietly staying in the system. 3 mistakes that cause these requests to get turned down. The first mistake is calling the wrong office. Calls 1 and 3 go to Service Canada. Call 2 goes to the CRA. Send the right request to the right office. The second mistake is having no documentation ready. When your income has dropped or when a contribution year looks wrong, the agent needs to see a document, not just hear your word. Have your most recent notice of assessment, your T4A slips, and any employment or pension records ready before you call. The third mistake is waiting. Every month you wait on the OAS recovery tax appeal is a month you continue to have money deducted for income you no longer earn. The people who win these requests are not the ones with the most money. They are the ones who called early and came prepared. Before we close, one critical warning. With information about CPP and OAS adjustments circulating widely right now, scammers are calling Canadian seniors and claiming to be from Service Canada or the CRA, offering to make these calls on their behalf for a fee or asking for personal information to process a benefit increase. Service Canada will never call you to offer a benefit increase in exchange for your personal information. The CRA will never call you demanding immediate verification of your banking details. If you receive any call like this, hang up immediately and call Service Canada directly at 1-800-277-9914 or the CRA at 1-800-959-8281 using the number you dial yourself, not the number the caller gives you. Pick up the phone, make the 3 calls in order, write everything down, and do not assume your CPP and OAS are right just because they have always looked the same. The people who get this money are not the ones who earned more or planned better. They are simply the ones who knew to ask. Share this video with one Canadian senior in your life who receives CPP or OAS. Most people will go their entire retirement without ever knowing these 3 calls exist, and this could be the most valuable afternoon they spend all year. What surprised you most in this video? Was it the CPP contribution record errors, the OAS recovery tax that applies to income you no longer earn, or the current year income option for GIS? Drop your answer and your province in the comments right now. I read every single one, and if this video helped you, hit the like button right now. 1 second, it is the only way this reaches the next Canadian senior who is leaving money on the table without knowing it. I am Henry Jaden. Take care of yourself, and take care of your money.